By the way,
And they
side note,
so
very, very few people who have played the role of Christine can actually hit that high note at the end. Most of the time, it that high note will be pre-recorded for Broadway.
really.
Yeah. Hello, welcome to Showbiz, a musical theater podcast where you're not really a theater kid if you haven't been enchanted by the angel of music. I'm your host, Luna Rose, pronouns they, she, he, and today we are going to be talking about the iconic, if you don't know it, what's wrong with you, the Phantom of the Opera. Joining me today is the amazing Jacki Jing. Jackie, how are you doing
Hello.
today?
I'm great. Super excited to be joining you. Um, I'm literally just out of the shower because I finished playing volleyball, but I could not miss this opportunity to talk about Phantom of the Opera. So I'm happy I am here.
Amazing. I'm so excited to talk about this with you. So, Jackie, just tell us a little bit about yourself. What are your pronouns? What do you do? All that good stuff.
Yeah, she, her, and gosh, I think a lot of people know me from Netflix's The Circle, and I've also done some dubbing, some voice acting, and I also do a lot of hosting for video game and anime events, and also content creator. Uh, but I love acting. That's how you and I connected, because we're both a part of Epic. And yeah, like I love Epic so much. I don't know if you want me to talk about Epic or not, but yeah,
Oh,
I'm so happy we connected.
absolutely. Yeah, I've had a lot of Epic players on the podcast, so like any talk about that is good.
Okay. I mean, honestly, like I my whole life I just have always been like there's something wrong with me and I just can't fit in no matter what I do, you know? And I think like going to school with volleyball training with trying to do singing growing up, like in my singing lessons, like all my teachers were always like she is like frankly they described me as like petulant
Mm.
and like that I was not trying to participate and was a problem, you know? And in my mind, I was so desperately wanting to participate and understand what was going on, but I just had, struggles. I am diagnosed with ADHD, you know what I mean? And I have a lot of trouble processing things when people tell me them for the first time. You know, a lot of times I have to ask people to repeat things. But it was, my whole life I was told like you're not paying attention, you're not respecting me, you're disrespecting the class, like all this stuff like that, and it just made me be like, gosh, like there's something like really wrong with me, and so I really put acting on the back burner and singing for a long time. But I was very good at yapping, which is also an ADHD trait, right? So like it helped with hosting, but hosting was like, there wasn't with hosting, obviously people think hosting's a difficult job and it definitely can be arduous at times, but it was just something that came like very naturally to me and easy to me because I think like because of my neurodivergence, I was really able to pick up on what my interviewee was feeling. Like I was very good at like being like, they're kind of in a bad mood, or they don't want to be pressed on this, or oh my god, they're having so much fun. Let's roll with this, and it just filling in air, but I think it just like discouraged me from pursuing a lot of other things that I truly wanted to do. But Epic is such a safe space and honestly like such a creative space, and it's so wonderful, and like it's changed my life, like it's really like jump started my acting career again, and honestly like my creative career. And I've met so many amazing people, obviously you, and like there's so many people in the class that I could just talk about at length. But yeah, I'm just like I'm Epic has changed my life. I hope someday we do a musical. I know that it's like on the, TBD list, we'll
Hmm.
see. But yeah, like Epic has changed my life. I know that sounds so cheesy to say, but I don't know how you feel about it, but
I am completely with you there. I think Epic has been like a huge game changer for me, and just I've never been around that many openly neurodivergent people in my life. at least as an adult. So that's been really great. Definitely a big sense of community and just, yeah, creativity. It's awesome.
Aw, that makes me happy.
And so, with that, I want to know a little more about why you wanted to talk about this musical in particular. What about Phantom of the Opera speaks to you that you chose it for this
Yeah.
episode?
Um, Man. Okay, so there's like a lot of reasons. Where do I start? Okay, so I think like singing was always something that just naturally like came to me, you know? But my dad and mom really liked, musical theater. And so we had a bunch of the soundtracks laying around the house, and I'm like a bit older than you, I think. I'm like 38. And so they listened to Phantom of the Opera, Les Mis, Pippin, Man of La Mancha, My Fair Lady, definitely like that 80s like Cats, you know what I mean, that whole like 80s 90s time, right? So I loved all of those musicals. Like if you asked me to sing a song from any of those musicals, like I could right now, but like Phantom of the Opera always just hit me so hard, and it just hit so different. And I think it was the first time I heard it was actually Michael Crawford's voice, the Phantom, because he had such this like haunting, eerie, mesmerizing voice. But it was, and I think it was like I always loved like female singers a lot. I think because obviously because I would like echo what they were singing. But he was kind of like the first male singer that I was like, oh my God, like your voice is hypnotizing. It's like, it's so scarily good, you know? He's just such a great fit. And obviously, like, Sarah Brightman is, she's her, like she is
Yeah.
it. But it was like, I think it was really his voice that had caught me. And it was Phantom. And I mean, honestly, looking back, it was a duet, so I think I just kind of like fell in love with both of their voices. But I I mean, I could talk about why I love Phantom forever, but I think it was Michael's voice that made me be like, this is like different to me. Like I said, I loved all these different musicals, but that one, his voice, like when I heard Phantom of the Opera and I heard Music of the Night with his voice, like I was just like, I wish I could sing like this.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. That I absolutely agree with you. Like the music is just so hauntingly beautiful, and we'll definitely get more into that. I don't think I need to introduce everybody what Fan of the Opera is, but I'll give some background on it. Obviously, it's an Andrew Lloyd Webber piece of work based on the 1910 novel of the same name. The book was inspired by real events, like in 1873, for example, the Paris Opera House did actually set on fire, and there was a very renowned pianist there whose face was disfigured in the fire, and he survived, but he kind of like disappeared after that happened. There was also a real incident in 1896 where the chandelier broke off in the middle of a performance at that same opera house. So we definitely see remnants of that in the show. Phantom of the Opera premiered on Her Majesty's Theatre in London in 1986, and then moved on to West End, and then made its Broadway debut in 1988. It really cannot be understated how successful this show has been. It won a Tony and an Olivier, which is like the British Tony for Best Musical. Michael Crawford, who obviously originated the role of the Phantom, also won a Tony and an Olivier for Best Actor in a Musical. Of course, it was adapted into a film in 2004, directed by John Schumacher, and then starring Emmy Rossum. And it's the longest running show in Broadway history to date. And I think also the highest grossing musical of all time.
Say it again. You know what? It's like funny because I'm older, right? I'm 38. I mean, I don't think I'm old, but it's like I know there's a lot of like Gen Z people who love musicals and like they straight up don't know Phantom or like don't like it. And I'm like, what? You know, like it shakes me to my core because it's like for me, first of all, it's just like the perfect story. Like what you were saying about it being connected to some historic events, and some of them could be like a little hyperbolic and exaggerated, right? Like obviously, like the Phantom of the Opera is not like pure truth or anything. It's like, but it's the fact that there's just like these little things that happened, and you're like, oh gosh, you know that like there is some truth to the story. Is like so creepy and eerie, right? But like I'll be and you know, tell me what you think here, Luna. But like, I I think I this show resonated with me because the Phantom was ostracized by society and like isolated, and I think I literally felt that way. You know what I mean? When I was growing up, like I felt I felt like the Phantom. And I know that sounds so dramatic, but it was like I was rooting for him so badly because I was like, please, like I want you to like get out of this darkness. I want someone to love you. Like you are a genius, you know? And it was honestly heartbreaking to me because like in the end, and the story is just so honest, right? Like Christine has to go with Raul. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, what is she like? What was she gonna do? You know, like potentially live with the Phantom, and you know, like, and let's be honest, like the Phantom needed therapy. Like the
Oh,
Phantom
yeah.
was not mentally healthy. You know what I mean? Like it was just like, but like the fact, like, and some people might even argue that this was messed up. But I think when she kisses him, she's just like, I do love you. You know what I mean? Like I do love you, but like this is not like this romance or whatever relationship we have like is it's straight up like toxic and not going to work for either of us. But like I want you to know like the love is there, right? And I think that's why he lets her and Raul go in the end, is because he's like, I love her. Like I don't want to like own her. She is not an object, you know. Like I think he realized like the obsession kind of went away, and he realized like, oh my gosh, I love her and I respect her, you know. But it was like such a beautiful story because you see this person who is just like treated so badly, persevering and like finding music and finding love. And then yes, I think he was eerily training and like low key grooming Christine, which is definitely problematic. But like in the end, I felt like the Phantom let her go. He made the right decision. You know what I mean? And so like I think what we love about Phantom of the Opera is that he is a villain. He is a mentally unwell character, but you're rooting for them. You know what I mean? Like you like are low key like, gosh, I want something good to happen for this person. And the tragic part is like in the end, you know, he's left alone, you know, with just his music, you know? But I think that like he was basically on on the edge of going to this like dark place that you never come back from, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like if he would have unalived Raul and like kidnapped Christine and them live in the, you know, like it was like, and he was about to do it. And so it's like I feel like it's just such a tragic story because it's like where is a place for this beautiful person, you know what I mean? Because he was so creative and theatrical and musical, you know. But it was like it was just this tragic end. And I think like a lot of stories I watch now, you're just kind of like, you see these villains and they're such a product of their society, and you're just like, what would have happened if people didn't, you know, ridicule him, and he wasn't in a circus where it was like his flaws were constantly pointed out? Like what if he went through proper musical training? You know what I mean? Like it's just like his life would have been completely different.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with Phantom's story resonating so much with people like us who are like disabled and neurodivergent. It's important to note too, like this story takes place in the late 19th century where like ugly laws were still in place and like disabled people were like put in freak shows, which they touch on in the story. So there's like a historical context to consider. And like, you're absolutely right, where the Phantom is definitely a product of his society and like the time period he grew up in. And you do have to wonder, like, if he had just been born in a different era, like, I don't know how different his life could have turned out.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Like, I don't know about you, Luna, but like my whole life, I was told that I was dumb and I was a problem. You know what I mean? Like that was what I was told my entire childhood. And I was put into classes that were like developmentally delayed, I guess you could say. Like I was always in like the classes where they were like, she's not learning well, you know? And I literally did not think I was smart. I just was like, I'm a really, really hard worker. And if I work really hard, then people will think I'm normal. You know what I mean? And I was literally 28 years old and I was a TV news anchor. Like, I'm telling you right now, I was like doing great, right? And I was talking to my co-anchor and I was like, well, I don't think I'm a very smart person. I just think I'm a very hardworking person. And she was quiet and she was like, you're a very smart person. You know what I mean? And she was like, what are you talking about? You know? And I always that and it's crazy. Like I literally was 28 years old and that was the first time I said to myself, I am smart. Like can you imagine? You know, like you're living your whole life and you're just like, I'm not that smart, but I'm a hard worker. And it's like, why was I telling myself that? And it was because of what people were telling me when I was growing up. And the
Mm-hmm.
Phantom literally comes out of the womb and he's like, his own mother doesn't want him. He's given away to like a freak show. I think like the movie did some little alterations to the story, which I can't quite remember. But it was like, how is someone supposed to thrive in that situation? And the thing is, though, like, so many of us like we have resiliency and we're strong, you know what I mean? And so like even though we were told these things, like we were like I said, I was like I'm gonna work hard like and still survive, you know what I mean? Like and then the Phantom finds music and he finds like mentoring Christine and you know making her have this beautiful voice, and it's like we find ways for our like skill and our light to come out no matter what, you know what I mean? But it's like that light could have shined so much brighter and shined earlier and shined maybe not in the way that the Phantom shined because his kind of like went off, you know, left field, I guess you could say, if we were put into better situations, you know. And so I think like that was one of the most heartbreaking things is that you were like, I just remember as a kid I was like, but he's super talented, so why is he, you know, relegated to the caverns of the theater? You know what I mean? Like, and it was, but we don't know. You know, that was what he was telling himself, or maybe that was his safe space. But like, whatever it was like he was not allowed to thrive, and that's like it. Honestly, is like making me emotional to think of because it's just like so many of us are just put down so much when we're young, and like think of how many people's light is just being it's not being able to shine, you know, and horrifically some of them put out, you know, and that just like breaks my heart. So I don't know, I was having this conversation, I'm just like, my god, I didn't realize how much Phantom like resonated with me. I think in ways it like saved my life, you know. So
Yeah, and I'm so nervous right now for like the future of disabled children now, with just Department of Education being defunded, which is just going to be incredibly devastating for so many different people. And it's, I don't know, you want to think we've come a long way in regards to disability rights and just in general, just, people being treated better. But it honestly just feels like we're going backwards. It's kind of jarring, to be honest, just to see how disregarded disabled people are, and how little we're considered, how little we're just, I don't know, like
yeah, the lack of empathy,
yeah,
yeah.
ableism is just so ingrained in our society for so long that most people like don't even think about it.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I think that was another reason why I loved Phantom so much. I think no matter what, though, you have to admit that Phantom of the Opera made you think about this stuff. You know what I mean? Like you were like, I think back to like My Fair Lady, and I was just like, she's just like beautiful and perfect, and like everything works out. You know what I mean? Like, which honestly, like, if we wanted to dissect My Fair Lady, there is some very problematic things with My Fair Lady about like not being yourself and there being things wrong with you, but I won't even get into that. But it was basically like we've been told our whole lives like prescribe to this certain identity and you will thrive in society. And so what was interesting to me was like Phantom made me think, here's someone who is super talented and why aren't they thriving? And it made me think about like all the things around it, you know? And I think like, you know, what you're talking about societally, what is happening, it's like we got to change, you know, like we have to be accepting and loving. And I know that sounds so simple, but like I think that like when I was watching The Phantom, I was just like, why aren't they just accepting of the Phantom, and why aren't you like loving to this person who is has beautiful musical talent and is a great instructor? Like it was just like, but instead the theater chose to, I think the theater turned him into the monster, you know, because it was like instead of embracing him, they were like, oh, he's lurking in the night and he's doing this stuff. And like, this is another thing that I will say about like, I know this is silly, but like affirmations and stuff like that. But it's like, if you're repeatedly told by people, you are a problem, you are a monster, you are this and that, your brain starts to be programmed. Like, maybe I am. Maybe I am. And I think, I low key think that is what happened to the Phantom. I think that like he was hearing all these people calling him this, calling him that, and he was like, fuck it. I will be that then. You know what I mean? Which is sad. I just think he broke, you know? And it's like literally, like you said, we're societally just becoming like so isolated. We're in our phones. We don't connect with people. The community is breaking apart. Like politically, don't even want to like start, right? Like there's just so much to break down there. But it's like that was what made this musical so good, was like it was just like show people love once, like treat them like a human, and and see what happens.
It's amazing what a little bit of kindness and compassion, how far that can go for some people. And also like going back to like Andrew Lloyd Webber giving this character a voice, like even just going back to the author of the book, whose name I am not remembering right now, but he was literally inspired by the Paris Opera House fire, and a pianist who supposedly was this world renowned pianist at the time, but we don't even know his name because he became disfigured as a result of this fire, and then he was never seen again really after that, because of the ugly laws that were in place at the time. And so I think the author at the time kind of wondered like, I wonder what that person's up to now. I wonder what their life is like, you know. And I
It's so
think
sad.
Andrew Lloyd Webber kind of, you know, pulled from that even more of just like, yeah, how many stories haven't been told as a result of any sort of marginalization? How many people who were just incredibly gifted and so amazing and like so ahead of their time, and we never get to hear about them because they were disabled or because they were a woman or because they were black or just any of that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's do the song list. We start with an overture. Remember back in the day when musicals had overtures?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's insane. They don't really have those
So
anymore. But it's
why
based
don't they do them anymore?
um I think because it's a similar reason to why a lot of movies nowadays don't have like opening credits, cuz like overtures tend to be fairly long. I think Fan of the Opera overture is like pretty short in comparison to other overtures of the time. And I think I don't know. I think it's just audience tastes have changed. I think audiences nowadays are kind of like get to the point.
Yeah, that's probably true. Watching old movies, like, and they had intermissions, and like you said, they had overtures for the whole musical where they gave you a sample of each song. You're just like, it was a different time.
Yeah, very different time. But basically,
Yeah.
like, it starts off in the year 1919. The Paris Opera House, we get a glimpse of it. It's really not what it used to be, like, in its heyday. But so I watched the movie the other day, like, in preparation for this episode. The way they did it in the movie, where, like, we see the broken chandelier and then it, like, rewinds back in time during, like, the da, 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 da. It's so awesome. It's so powerful. I love it.
Dude, that the da 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 da. It is like literally like I know Andrew Lloyd Webber. There's some problematic things that have come up about Andrew Lloyd Webber, I think. But like you can't hate on the fact that the guy knows music. Like
Oh, yeah.
it's just like that that was just the catchiest thing ever. And the thing is also like to point out about him is like he really knew the times. Like he used synthesizer and he used really like simple. I don't think he went like too over the top. Like the songs are like obviously like beautiful works of art, but like I think he like found a way to like meld together music of the time and like just amazing orchestral music and historical music together. Like he's just a genius in my opinion. So
Oh, yeah, he absolutely is. Like, even if you don't know the show, Fan of the Opera, you know that chord.
I'm like,
Like,
yeah,
yeah, so,
yeah. I'm like, you have to. I mean, I hope we're right. I'm like, I hope people know that chord because if not, I'm like, oh my god. Dustin, do you know that chord? Okay, my boyfriend doesn't know anything about musicals and he knows it. So,
yeah, there you go.
Dustin.
I mean, it's on TikTok everywhere because people keep remixing it. So, like,
Oh, really?
oh yeah,
I gotta get in that side of TikTok.
I've seen that chord remixed into the most random songs on TikTok.
Oh, really? That's so funny. Aw. So Overture's great. We love
Yes.
with the like the Raul is old, right? And he's like bidding on stuff. It's so
Yeah.
eerie. It's so creepy.
Yeah. And I like how in the movie they like have like that timeline like in black and white as like a contrast.
Mm-hmm.
Almost to like symbolize, the opera house is past its prime to the point where like now people are bidding on relics essentially from the opera house.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's so good. You talking about? I'm just like, oh, I gotta watch this and Man of La Mancha again after this. I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah, absolutely. The next number is Hannibal Rehearsal. So this is where we get a flashback to the year 1881. We see this cast of actors rehearsing for an opera called Hannibal, which I'm pretty sure is fictional. I don't think it's a real opera. But we see that, there's been rumors that like this opera house is haunted. There have been incidents where it's like, oh, it's a ghost. Which I think all theaters are haunted.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Also, I love Carlotta. Like, I
She's
know
so
she's a
funny.
villain. She's just so ridiculous. Like, she's such a diva. She sings, like, she actually sings really well. Hits high notes, but she's just so over the top with the performances. You know what I mean? But she's iconic. I love Carlotta.
Yeah.
So, just wanted to say that.
Oh yeah. To be perfectly honest, I think she's being reasonable at least at this point cuz they're rehearsing, the backdrop like falls almost on top of her, which is like, I mean, nowadays that would be like a lawsuit waiting to happen, and she's naturally incredibly upset. She's like, I'm not performing in this theater. This is ridiculous. And she like storms out. And she's made out to be like such a diva and like such a Karen for doing that. And I was like, guys, like she almost got injured.
Exactly. Thank you. We're here wearing the Carlotta t-shirts. We're like, she was not that bad. I mean, to be honest, like she kind of gets like I can cuss on here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, she kind of gets fucked over. Like it's like she was the diva, she was the main, and like you said, she's the place has fallen apart around her, and low-key the Phantom hates her, so he is sabotaging her the whole time. So like honestly, someone should write a musical from the perspective of Carlotta. Cause that would be freaking awesome.
I
Because
would
it's
love
like
that.
imagine this is your time to shine, the whole place has fallen down around you. The Phantom is haunting you. Some younger girl comes around and she steals the part from you, and you're probably already insecure about like your age and like, am I good enough? And this was my moment to shine, and everything gets stolen from her.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It's pretty fucked up. We gotta write that, Luna. We're gonna write
Yes.
The Carlotta musical. I like low key think we need to do that now.
Yeah, justice for Carlotta. I'm actually a Carlotta defender.
Seriously, I mean, like she is annoying, but like it's like also like I felt bad for her, and it's funny we're talking about this now because I do remember being like she's annoying, but like even back then when I was a kid, I was like she's getting haunted by the Phantom, and he's giving her a really hard time, and then some girl just came and just took her spot like that. I would not be happy, to be honest, if I was getting haunted and then my lead role got stolen from me. It's like
Oh, it's a miracle that she was just annoying.
yeah.
I think I would be a menace if that was happening to me.
Oh my god, I love it. Okay, we're gonna write that. We're gonna have to connect after the podcast and work on it or something. That'd be so funny.
Deal, deal. But yeah, so she storms off. They're like, okay, we need someone to take her place. Madame Curie offers up Christine, who is, I think, recently orphaned, but she's been well trained, as they put it. She has a beautiful voice, and then she sings "Think of Me."
This is low key my favorite song. Like, I'm not lying. Like everybody loves Phantom of the Opera. Everybody loves Angel of Music. I think at least those are like the main go-tos. I love Think of Me. I think it was like the song I sang when I was a little girl, like over and over again. And I just thought it was so romantic, and it's like her time to shine, even though, just for Carlotta, but also like Christine, this is her time to shine too. Like she's given this opportunity in this like horrid entertainment world, and she was a backup singer or dancer. I don't even think she was singing, right? And
Yeah, she was a
she gets
chorus
so,
girl.
and it's her time. And it's like, it's beautiful. I think Sarah sang it really well. I thought Emmy Rossum sang it really well. People like hated on the movie performances, but I love them. And you know what? I actually loved the movie Think of Me a little bit better. I can't say that. I like them both the same. But I thought I liked how they gave Raul a little bit more of a part in it, and it made it a little bit more of a duet in the movie. I always loved Raul's part. I thought like it was just really cute, and it's just like it's just this pure romance song. It's just like playful and beautiful, and like it's nostalgic, and it's just the perfect song to set up Raul and Christine. Like it's just like so perfect. And then she just kills it. Like it's just I love it.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. It kind of like really describes Raul and Christine's relationship because they're supposed to be like childhood friends. They haven't seen each other in a long time. I don't know how old either of them are supposed to be. I would assume that they're close in age because they were friends as children. But for some reason in the movie, Raul looks a lot older than
He
Christine.
is Yeah, I was gonna say, Emmy. By the way, Emmy Rosen was like 19 when they shot that, and her love interests were, I think, were both in their 30s.
Ew.
No,
Okay.
great 2000s, man. I actually think in well, it says in the novel, Raul is implied to be in his early to mid 20s, around the same age as Christine, with only a few years separating them. But I thought she was a teenager. I thought she was like an upper teenager. Like I think Emmy Rossum's age was right. Let me see how old was Christine.
Yeah, because she looks like 15 or 16 to me. Maybe 17.
She's 16. Okay. Well, in the adaptation, The Phantom of the Opera, Christine is portrayed as being 16. Um, I think she's around 16. So, but he's like a few years older than her for sure.
Okay,
It was
so
a different time, I guess you could say, but yeah.
I suppose,
Yeah,
but she was still like a child.
definitely. Yeah, I was like, not okay. Not okay. Not okay. Poor women. I'm just like, on another crazy side note, I watched a documentary recently about child brides, which is still a thing in the United States, by the way. But it's just like crazy. Like, I'm just like, women have just endured so much. And like, so again, adding to I think that was another reason why I like this musical too, was Christine was so young. And I remember like being like, she's dealing with all these problematic people.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just remember thinking that as a kid too. I was like, why is this girl? Because I think she was a little bit older than me. I was like 8, I think, when I got into it. I was really young when I listened to Phantom. Um, and yeah, I just remember being like, why is this girl dealing with all this? It just was crazy to me, you know? So,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah. So what stuck out to me in this number in particular was just the just such a contrast between, you know, Christine and Carlotta. Carlotta's obviously like a seasoned veteran in showbiz, and you know, she's older, she knows what she wants, and you know, like people are like starting to resent her. She's like no longer an ingenue. Christine is an ingenue. She's very, very young and like, for lack of better words, she's almost like a shiny new toy for the audience. They just adore her, and she comes off a lot more, I guess, humble or just less sure of herself. And people like that in women and girls.
You said it. You said it. Why? Because I think they're easy to manipulate and people like having control. I think that's the whole concept in my opinion. And like one thing that like kind of bothered me about Christine was like, but she was a child, right? She's 16 years old, but it was like she was getting pulled in all these directions by everybody around her, and I felt like she really did not have a lot of time to like think and like do what she wanted. You know what I mean? Like she was just getting like, honestly, frankly, like just jerked around by a bunch of really terrible toxic people, which I guess is entertainment, you know? But it is like really scary to think. Like she's just like on a roller coaster ride the whole time without any control, it felt like to me.
Yeah,
Until the end,
and
you know
she,
what I mean?
and
But
she
yeah.
like she like gets thrust into the spotlight like pretty suddenly. We don't even know if like she ever wanted to be in the spotlight.
Again, we don't know.
Like,
She, if you think about it, she doesn't talk very much like about what she wants, right? Like we have her an angel of music being like talking to her friend, right? Which I love. Every time I meet someone named Christine, I'm always like, Christine, Christine, Christine. You know the part where her friend is like talking to her? I was actually low-key obsessed with that girl. Like I don't even remember what her name was.
her name's
But I wanted to be her.
her name's Meg.
Was it? Okay,
Yeah.
I was like, she just like, I loved the friend. I loved what she was singing. Like, I was just like, oh, she's like, where in the world have you been hiding? Da 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 da. Who is this new teacher? And like, I just loved her like little playful voice. I just thought she was so. It was such a cute, sweet voice. Um, and then it like leads to Angel of Music, which is great. You
Yeah,
know.
classic.
Yeah. Yeah. Angel of Music. I don't even know where to start with that one. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is where Christine is like talking about the man who's been tutoring her and how like she's actually never seen his face or like has never seen him in person, but you know, before her father died, he had told her stories about this angel music that was like watching over her. And as I was like watching this musical, and particularly in this number and then a couple numbers later, this is I can't say for sure, but it seems like this story was also very heavily inspired by the Greek story of Psyche and Eros. And
Oh, interesting.
yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, Psyche was basically, she was this very, very like gorgeous, like beautiful, beautiful girl. But, she was very, very young and very innocent and naive. And just every man that met her just fell so deeply in love with her. Like, she was so gorgeous, in fact, that the goddess Aphrodite was very, very jealous and decided that she wanted to like mess with her. So what she
Mm.
did was she had her son Eros take this arrow and get her to fall in love with like a skunk or like an inanimate object.
Yeah,
Just really petty shit.
yeah,
um
yeah.
what ended up happening was Eros accidentally poked himself with the arrow and fell in love with Psyche. So
Oh,
he asked Psyche to marry her, but also basically said, if we get married, you cannot see my face. So he was like hiding in a cave, like behind bushes. And he was like, we can get married. I love you so much. You're so beautiful, but you can't see me. Because he didn't want her to know that he was a god.
oh.
Because I
There
think,
is a lot to unpack there. I'm like, now I gotta read this whole story. That sounds amazing.
yeah.
It sounds
So
like really good.
yeah, so like I'm watching Phantom of the Opera and I'm like, oh my God, this is like a retelling of this Greek story. Because
Hmm.
Christine is talking about, again, a very, very young, innocent, beautiful girl who just captivates everyone's attention. She's also caught the attention of this man that lurks beneath the shadows and she's never seen his face.
I know. It's I think like it's just a tragic story because I think like for the Phantom he had been down there and he was just like creating his masterpieces or like listening to music and like loved it, and then there was no way for him to like execute any of that, like for people to hear, right? And so
Hmm.
then he finds this girl who is talking to him because she thinks he is an angel, right? And it's kind of manipulative and fucked up, but it's also like he nobody talks to him, and he has the opportunity to like have his works heard, you know? So it's like this is another like gray area for me, where you're like not great, but also like he doesn't want to scare her by showing his face. He's been told his whole life that he's like a monster, you know what I mean? And that was the other thing. Loki, the Phantom of the Opera was hot, like always hot, which is like so crazy because it's like he's like, like you know what I mean. Obviously, like it was a different time. Like you said, they called people uglies and stuff like that, and it was terrible, But it was like that was the other thing that I was always thinking when I was younger was like, but he's good looking, and he's like talented. But it was just like crazy. This is the narrative that he was told, to him. He told to himself, and other people told him. But yeah, I don't know. That's just I didn't know the story of Eros and Psyche because yeah, I definitely there's definitely some of that in this too, for sure. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So the next couple numbers we can just kind of blow through them because I don't find them that interesting, but it's like
Yeah.
Little Lotta, and then the Mirror and the Angel of Music reprise, where basically Raoul pays Christine a visit and they're like reminiscing, and she confesses to him about her angel of music teaching her to sing. And I don't know, what do we think of Raoul? I couldn't really get a read on him. Like
Hmm.
I could tell like he does care for Christine, and here like he's, obviously he doesn't really believe that this angel music is real, but he's playing along. He's being nice about it, and then he asks her out.
Yeah,
I don't
this
know.
Raul is a nepo baby, and he's gotten everything he's wanted his entire life. Like, let's just be real.
Yeah.
I don't think Raul is necessarily a bad person. In apparently in the second movie, they make him really villainous. And he apparently has an affair with I yeah, comments tell me if I'm wrong. This is what I remember hearing through the grapevine, and I was like, I am completely uninterested in that story. You know, because for me, it was like in my mind, I wanted Raul and Christine to just be like these young people who like ended up building a wonderful life together. But they villainized him in the second. I never saw it. I don't know if you did or not. But yeah, I think Raul is he's just a naive young guy. He's probably a little bit of a Chad. You know what I mean? Like he's a Nepo baby Chad is what I kind of always got from him. Cause it's like he he is reacting pretty normal. Like if you told me, "Hey Jackie, there's someone like singing to me and training me with music," I would probably be like, "One, is this really happening? Are you okay?" And two, if this is happening, this is like strange and like you got to admit it's like kind of weird, right? Like so I
Yeah.
think like his concern isn't like out of line. I think he is like it's great to like I think it's great that he's like, hey, like this doesn't sound like a good situation. You know what I mean? Because he's actually listening to her. He's like hearing her and being like, you're seen and heard, right? Whereas like I think the friend, which I'm not blaming the friend, but isn't she's like, Christine, you must have been dreaming. Stories like this don't come true. Is that right?
Yeah.
I think so, right? And so it's like, I think that it is. I think Raul is not the best character, but I do think he genuinely cares about her, and he's like, "Hey, this is kind of a problem." But the Phantom hears him, and then he's like, "We need to get this out of the picture." You know what I mean? Like, because then the Phantom is like, "This is my only human connection. He's in love with her. Like, let's just be honest. It's not. It is a mentor and student relationship, but he is also in love with her. You know." And so Raul, I feel like like I never hated Raul, but I never loved Raul either. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely not wrong about this situation being kind of weird. You know, we've kind of touched on it a little bit already, but like this is a mentor student relationship and it is inappropriate. It does like it's very much like grooming vibes. Again, Christine is 16, so like, you know, she's a
Older
teenager.
than her. Hmm.
Honestly, we can just jump into the title song right now because we really get those grooming vibes like in this number, this iconic number,
Oh
which,
my god.
by the way,
I'm getting
side
so
note,
you bring it up. Yeah.
so very, very few people who have played the role of Christine can actually hit that high note at the end. Most of the time, it that high note will be pre-recorded for Broadway.
Really?
Yeah, because
I was
it's
gonna say it is so hard.
yeah,
It is unbelievably hard.
yeah, it is.
I don't even know what note that is.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult. So most actresses who have played Christine cannot hit that high note, let alone for like 8 times a week.
Back performances. I know. I don't even know how people on Broadway can sing that much every night. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. Like people really need to give props where props are due, you know?
Yeah,
I think they're
absolutely.
starting to get better about that though. I think they're starting to like use more understudies and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, definitely. I think too, a lot of Broadway actors like have like destroyed their voices because of how difficult the notes are. And I think it is becoming a problem of Broadway to just have actors sing into the stratosphere or just like belting super duper high all the time. It's really not good for your voice to be doing that, especially
and
like for how many performances you have.
totally agree with you. Yeah.
But yeah.
It sucks.
So yeah, Phantom of the Opera. It's where Christine asks the Phantom to reveal himself, and then he does, and then basically hypnotizes her, like compels her to like go to his secret lair, and like she's seeing like her singing higher and higher and higher, like that's him like basically like making her do that, and the whole time just thinking this is so haunting and just beautiful, and I'm definitely getting like the grooming vibes here. First of all, it sounds like that he's been there for like her entire life, but it seems like he really like took on a prominent role like after her father passed away. So like
Definitely. Yeah.
yeah, groomers tend to choose targets that are kind of in a
Vulnerable.
vulnerable state. So,
Mm-hmm.
like being recently orphaned, I mean, you can't get any more vulnerable than that. You know, he's like showering her with all this attention and this affection and like teaching her how to sing, which is something that she loves to do. So like making a connection based on that, he is isolating her from like other people. He gets really really jealous and possessive when it seems like she's making other connections.
Mm-hmm. Everything you're saying is so true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
it's not right. Yeah, no, it's fucked up. It's
that's like textbook grooming. Like
100%.
he's hitting all the red flags.
Mhm. Yeah, I think this is the thing, like you feel bad for the Phantom, but he is not a good person. You know what I mean? Like he becomes the monster that like society told him he was, you know? Like he sees a very vulnerable young woman who he can exploit and manipulate, you know what I mean? Like you said, and who is in a very vulnerable state. And then when he sees her, you know, making healthy connections with people and starting to have her own success, he like gets possessive and controlling. You know what I mean? Like, and it's honestly like it's funny breaking this all down. Like, how incredible is it that all of these layers to the story are in this one story? You know what I mean? Like, it's like I think Christine, what like the one thing I remember when I was a kid watching like and like listening to this was like I just felt bad for her because I was like she she's in such a vulnerable state. Like it's like she loses her dad. She's like a dancer, you know, and then she's having this like huge rise to fame. But then it's just like everything around her is like I said like earlier jerking her in different directions and you're just like how is she honestly justice for Christine and Carlotta. Like it's just like really terrible how we treat women, you know? And and I think like we do feel bad for Phantom, but the Phantom is so in the wrong. You know what I mean? Like you can't be pretending to be an angel and be training a young girl like at night. Like that's just it's not okay. And you know, for him, he will be like, oh well, I was isolated and lonely, but it's like okay, like that does two wrongs don't make a right. That doesn't mean like now you do something to someone who's like in a really vulnerable position. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
It's
you're the adult in this situation.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like,
Yeah.
it's not okay. And I think music of the night, people, when people make music of the night their wedding song, I'm like, this is a creepy ass song. It's a beautiful song, but it's like,
People do
he's
that?
not okay. A lot of people make it their wedding song, though. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful song, but I'm just like, from, if you know the musical, you're like, he's not okay. You know what I mean?
I don't get people. I think we should start gatekeeping again.
It's just funny. I just don't think they. But actually, I know someone who made this their wedding song, and I think they did watch the musical. But like, I also think people. I think a lot of people don't call out the Phantom. Like, I'm happy we are calling out the Phantom because people are like, the Phantom's the hero, and we love the Phantom, and it's like, no, 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 no. The Phantom is super problematic. You know what I mean? Like we do. I think I love the Phantom. You know, there's a lot of things I empathize for the Phantom, mainly his healing journey, like that in the end he is able to like not go over the deep end and step further into darkness, you know, that he like takes a step in the right direction at the end, but he is way down the wrong path the entire musical, you know, like he's not a good person. And it's like Phantom of the Opera is 100% like the grooming song, and I think Music of the Night is I too, you know what I mean, like it's
Oh
like
yeah.
him trying to transition the relationship from mentor student to it is sexual, you know what I mean, like he's talking about like wanting to touch her and being intoxicated by her, and it has words like sensation and stuff, like you know what I mean, like he is trying to break her down, and like you said, he hypnotizes her, you know, like it's like And I think she's still under his hypnosis, obviously with Music of the Night, right? Because they're like down in the cavern and like, so it's like, if we're gonna call the Phantom of the Opera a grooming song, like Music of the Night is right up there with it. So
Yeah. And yeah, I think Phantom of the Opera and Music of the Night are like my two favorites. I know those are like the popular choices, but they're so
they're
good.
great. I mean, and but this is the other thing, you have to speak to Andrew Lloyd Webber. Like honestly, whenever I find any creator who makes a villain likable, like I'm like that is crazy good writing, right? You make the songs that they sing. I like the song. I mean, I honestly think the way these songs hypnotize you, you understand why Christine isn't able to break away from the situation, right? Like she's literally being hypnotized and mesmerized and enchanted by the Phantom, and the Phantom is charismatic. You know what I mean? Like he is extremely charismatic. He's extremely talented. He is suave. Like come on, like let's give the Phantom like credit, you know? But it is crazy because like it's like, but you have to speak to Andrew Lloyd Webber's just impressiveness because it's like he makes you be like, why am I? You've seen You, right? About the serial killer,
Yes.
and everyone talks about how they love him, right? And it's like he is highly problematic, right? But I think that like that's what's so human about like You and Phantom of the Opera is that like you can still see the human in the Phantom. You can still see the human in the protagonist of You. They're not good people though, but you still like can see a little bit of the humanity in them, and so you hold on to it, you know. But yeah,
Yeah.
like the two best songs are definitely not like if you dive deeper, you're like a little problematic here, but yeah.
Yeah. And I think you're absolutely right that like the fact that those songs are so mesmerizing like does speak to how mesmerized Christine is by the Phantom. And like that's the thing with child groomers and predators is they are very charismatic people. They have to be or else their tactics wouldn't work. Like so many of them are like good looking, they're successful in their field, they're very well respected by their communities. They may even do like some sort of humanitarian work or just work in a very like I guess respected field, and they're very very good at like earning people's trust. A big thing too is like so many of them will like befriend and like gain the trust of the parent or guardians of the children that they're targeting, right? Like they wouldn't be able to get away with so much if they weren't charming. And part of why so many people have a hard time believing victims who come forward about various celebrities or influencers who have done stuff to them, like a part of it is they're so mesmerized by those people. They're mesmerized by the fame and the life that they, or the image of their lives that they put out there. And it's a lot of like smoke and mirrors. And like the Phantom uses a lot of smoke and mirrors, literally,
Literally, yeah.
to hide the fact that they're abusing their power.
All of the above. I mean, it's crazy. I'm trying to think. So, Stranger Than You Dreamt It is when the Phantom gets angry because Raoul or Christine removes his mask, right?
Yes.
Um, which was a dick move. Like, what the fuck, Christine?
He
Like,
like
I
puts his
get
hands on her. He like pushes
yeah,
her.
he does. But like, but you know what? You could also argue for Christine is that like she's so under the hypnosis. She's like, what's behind the mask, right? But I was like, dude, like, why would she do that? But again, then we see the Phantom not have any emotional control. Like he is not, he yells at her. He like I think he's really mean. I'm trying to remember what the exact lyrics were, but I think he's like cursing her, and he's like, like cussing at her and like being really vile,
Yeah,
And
he
obviously,
literally says, "I curse you."
does he? Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, I just remember again speaking to Michael Crawford's amazing performance. Like honestly, like let's give credit where credit's due. Michael Crawford is scary, angry, manipulative, enchanting, charismatic. Like I think it is one of the most underrated performances of our time cinematically. Like, I'm literally not joking. Like, he is every single freaking emotion and like heightened and terrible, like in a malicious way, which I think is so hard, to do. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't think that like comes naturally to be. Apparently, like, he and Sarah Brightman like really did not like each other, and I actually think that like that helped him stay in character to be just so monstrous. You know what I mean? Because he had like some sort of like, and who knows what his deal was. You know what I mean? He was probably, low key, he probably was jealous of Sarah. Like, we'll never really know all the answers, right?
Yeah.
But I think that like his performance was really enhanced by what was happening in reality. Like there was, and what's crazy? I watched some documentary, and he was in comedy before. Like, he was a comedian in Britain, and I was like, how? Because it's just so theatrical, but like, not it's not it is I you could argue it's over the top, but I just thought it would, like, he hit me in the heartstrings. Like, when he's so charismatic in Phantom of the Opera and Music of the Night. Like, it is literally, how do you not love him in Music of the Night? Like, that's why people make it their wedding song, and he's literally grooming her. But he's so enchanting in that song, right? And then he flips the switch like that when she rips his mask off. It is like crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it is nuts. Like, I actually, I one of my favorite songs. I'll point it out, but it's like at the end, and I just think he's remarkable in it. But just both of these, they're like good transitory songs, but like there's just so much emotion in them.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one thing I want to point out is yes, the Phantom reacts very, very poorly to having his mask taken off. Absolutely not okay. And then again, you do kind of understand why he's lashing out, because he's afraid of being judged for the way that he looks. Because again, like, this is like late 19th century. People with disabilities, with any type of physical deformities, I don't know for sure if that's even the proper term anymore. Is someone, feel free to correct me if it's not. But they were treated horribly. Again, there was like the ugly laws. It was literally like against the law and like punishable by jail time to be seen in public if you had like a physical disability.
That's so crazy. Isn't that like, it's just like disgusting.
Yeah, so
I mean,
disgusting.
yeah.
That's why he like hides out in the opera house.
You know what's interesting? So he has that very he has a meltdown. He has a like a very big reaction to the mask being taken off. And that's why I was like, low-key, I'm like, Christine, why would you do that? Like, that is his biggest vulnerability. But I do think she was like under hypnosis or whatever. But it's just like, and just all of the anger he has after that moment, like, you know how angry and how insecure he is. And it's just so sad, like, how much anger and insecurity this man is dealing with. And you're just like, geez. Yeah, Prima Donna's a like funny song. Isn't that when the owners are like talking about his demands? By the way, low-key shout out to the owners. The owners are great in the movie. And I think that they're great in the musical too, but they're just like this weird comic relief. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, they're so necessary to the production, because it's like you need some comedy here. You know what I mean? And Carlotta is the comedy too. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, let's give credit where credit's due on that. So.
Oh yeah, Prima Donna is so funny. Cause yeah, basically like the Phantom's like writing notes, basically demanding that Christine replace Carlotta in this opera, and they're all like, absolutely not.
Yeah, I know. And it's, oh my God, poor Carlotta. Justice for Carlotta. But it's a fun song.
Yeah, but then like, yeah, poor Carlotta, because like in the next number, which is Poor Fool He Makes Me Laugh, they go on with the show with Carlotta in the starring role.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you know what the Phantom does, audience? He enchants her to croak.
I
Like
think he poisoned her.
like cracks her voice.
I think he poisoned her.
Yeah? Did
Straight
he?
up. Yeah. I mean, I think he put stuff in her drink. Because I think she's drinking wine, and I think he legit poisons her.
Damn.
Which is, like, really fucked. This is, like, seriously, justice for Carlotta. And correct me if I'm wrong, audience. I'm pretty sure she's, like, drinking wine, and she starts drinking it, and she's like, ugh, ugh. Yeah. I don't know if, like, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Like, we don't really know what happens to Carlotta. And to be honest, I think we see her in the masquerade at the end, but it's like that was so humiliating. Her career is destroyed after that. Like, especially back in that day. Like, now people are more forgiving. There's no way she came back after that. He destroyed her
Yeah.
career.
Yeah, that's
Like,
horrible.
not okay. Not okay. And like, it's kind of tough for Christine because it's like she's getting these opportunities through a very evil path, and she knows that. Like, she knows this is not right. You know what I mean? Like, I think she does, at least. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, I don't think anybody wants a victory that is like not, I don't want to say pure, because like everything happens for a reason, you know what I mean? But it's like she knows that like Carlotta's being sabotaged, and it's kind of, and I don't think Christine does enough to be like, hey, something is really happening to Carlotta here. Because, like, I think if I was in the position of Christine, I would have probably been like, what is going on here? You know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, y'all, like, seriously, like, she's not bitching about nothing. Like, there is an issue. But I think also Christine knows it's the Phantom, and she wants the Phantom to keep on helping her. You know what I mean? Which you could argue is, like, really problematic of Christine. You know what I mean? Because it's like, why doesn't she knows what's going on. She knows that this is not a good situation. You know what I mean? Like, she knows that Carlotta's being targeted. She's rising up to the top. I mean, it's not a guessing. It's like she knows. The Phantom wrote letters being like, put Christine on instead of Carlotta, you know, or something bad's gonna happen. Like, it's just like, and that kind of always bothered me too. And let me know what the audience thinks. But I remember watching Emmy Rossum, and I remember when I would like listen to the musical, I was like, why isn't Christine like bringing up, hey, this guy is talking to me and instructing me, and like and he is literally like, protect me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why. Like, I think she does to a degree. I think she's like telling Raoul, and I think there's a part where Raoul is like, we need to make sure everything's fine, you know? But it was kind of like, I felt like she was either scared to ask for help, or she didn't want, and maybe it could be that and that, right? Maybe it was like she didn't want to ask for help. She didn't want the Phantom to stop helping her. Like, it's just like, think about, like, there was a lot going on with Christine too, you know?
Yeah. I think she is scared to ask for help because realistically, like, what can she really do to help Carlotta? You know, if we're going back to the grooming thing, like, she can't really say anything back to the Phantom or else he's gonna like snap at her. And she does kind of turn to Raoul as like an escape, which are like the last couple numbers of Act 1, where, you know, she's escaping with him like in all the chaos of the theater, and is like telling him about like the lair that she was brought to, and like she feels like she can't escape the Phantom, and so that leads into All I Ask of You, which is where Raoul like basically like promises to protect her. And it's unfortunate that, you know, in this time period she basically has to rely on another man to escape from this other man. But I really just think she doesn't have many options. And like,
I 100% agree, yeah. And that, you know what is kind of, I remember as a kid, being like, why doesn't this woman do anything? You know, like, I was like, why doesn't she take steps to like protect herself? But now that I've gotten older, it's like, back then, like, what could she have done? Like, she needed to get a man for help because that was the society that she was in. And also, like, frankly, like, what would she have done? You know, like, like maybe gotten a knife, but like I don't, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, come on, like there wasn't, she was really, and I don't think that's talked about enough, is like Christine is in such a bad situation and everything's happening so quickly around her, like, and like so much is happening. The Phantom is trying to seduce me. Raul wants me to marry him and we have this budding romance. I'm the lead singer. Like, you know what I mean? There's just like so much. My dad died recently. Like,
Yeah.
there's just
It's a
so much
lot.
happening.
It's a lot.
Crazy. Yeah. Um, yeah, and I just talking about All I Ask of You. A lot of people do All I Ask of You as their wedding song as well. And I find All I Ask of You pretty mid. It's not my favorite, but the end of All I Ask of You and the Phantom is like, oh my god, what does he say? Da, 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 da. He sings All I Ask of You and he's like on the, like he's hiding behind the gargoyle, and then he just like screams at the end and he's like, ah, I gave you my music, let your song take flight. I'm trying to remember it. Oh my god, um his and let your song take flight. I'm googling it right now. uh he is like so hurt. And it's like, if you hear his voice, and yeah, okay, I gave you my music, made your song take wing, and now how you've repaid me, denied me and betrayed me. He was bound to love you when he heard you sing. And like, it's just like his pain is so real. And then they're like singing, and then he goes, you will curse the day you did not do all that the Phantom asked of you. And he's just like screaming that note. And it is like, I'm getting chills thinking of it. That is like one of my favorite parts of the entire musical.
Yeah.
My favorite part is when he's like, he's just like, he's so delusional. Like, it's just like, but it's so sad at the same time. He's so delusional and sad because he's so in love with her, and he's so like, he's created this reality in his head, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's just like, it's so scary. It
Yeah,
is
it's
so
terrifying.
scary, right? Yeah. And he's so angry. Like, literally, I'm gonna listen to that song when we're because that is my, I find All I Ask of You so mid, but I would listen to that song just so I could listen to that part when I was a
Mm-hmm.
kid. Because, you know, back then in the day, you had a DVD player or a CD player, and then you'd have to fast forwards, you know? And, but I would just listen to it. But then my favorite part was when he's like, yeah, Christine's like, order your fine horses, be with them at the door. And then, like, the Phantom's just like stewing. And he's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I can, like, I'm just like, I love, because you can hear Michael Crawford sings that part so well. His like voice even like cracks when he's singing it because it's like he's so hurt, you know? But then you're just like, you feel bad for him, but you're like, dude, you're so delusional. Like, you're so not in the right space. Like, he, like I remember feeling so bad for the Phantom, but not because he doesn't get to be with Christine. It was because I was like, what happened to you, dude? You know what I mean? Like, I'm
Oh,
just
yeah.
like, what happened for us to get here? Like, it is so heartbreaking. Sorry, I didn't mean to like go off on that moment, but like literally, I think All I Ask of You is like such a mid song, but the ending is just so incredible to me. So,
Oh, yeah. I think it perfectly, like, encapsulates, like, the Phantom's fatal flaw, which is just the jealousy and the possessiveness. He's very ruled by his emotions and his trauma and taking it out on this young girl, and it's like you said it best. It's so scary to watch.
it's horrifying. And you're like, you're really scared for Christine at this point.
Yeah, you're
You
like,
know what I mean? Like,
what is he gonna do to her? we
I
we've
think
we've seen so many times, too many times, what men are capable of when they snap like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I think it's scary.
We will now be taking a quick intermission. If you're enjoying this episode so far, be sure to check out the extended version on my Patreon. That's right, for just $3 a month, you get early access to the extended versions of each episode, as well as the occasional bonus episode, some bonus content, and a shout out on the podcast. Once again, that's just $3 a month. Patreon will be in the description box down below. And now, let us return to our seats for Act 2.
In all honesty, I find the third act to be pretty weak until the finale. Like, I Masquerade is cool and pretty. It's cool and pretty, but it was like for me song wise, like, and some people love Masquerade. Just like Masquerade doesn't do it for me. But Masquerade is very cool visually. You know what I mean? Like it's the best part, like visually, I feel like,
Mm-hmm.
of the musical. Because it's just like everybody's so done up. But like I always thought Masquerade was kind of like a meh song. And I really love Wishing You Were Somehow Here Again. Um, it's the lyrics to Wishing You Were Somehow Here Again. If you've ever lost anybody in your life, it is like literally such a powerful song. But like Masquerade and Wishing You Were Somehow Here Again just didn't hit. Like the first act has and the second act have Phantom of the Opera, Music of the Night, All I Ask of You. You know what I mean? Like it should think of me. It's just like for me the first half is just that's my where my heart is. You know what I mean? Like and I like Masquerade and Wishing You Were Somehow Here Again, but they just didn't hit the same way the first and second act. That's all I had to say about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. I think you're right where yeah, once we get into act 2, we're going through like yeah, Masquerade, Wishing You Were Somehow Here Again, then Wandering Child, and then The Point of No Return. They don't quite hit in the same way that those act 1 songs do.
But one thing to say about the Point of No Return, I did not dig Michael Crawford's The Point of No Return, and maybe I need to re-listen to it. But as a kid, watching Gerard Butler sing The Point of No Return, I think I was like in high school, and I just thought it was the sexiest thing I'd ever seen.
Mm.
Like, I don't know what it was. Gerard Butler singing The Point of No Return. Like, I was like, holy shit. Like, I think a lot of people are super critical of Gerard Butler's Phantom. He owns The Point of No Return. It's like
Oh
his
yeah.
voice is raspy and he's just so and it's a disgusting song, right? Like it's like he's like so caught up in his fucking narrative. He's so fucking sick, you know? And it's but it's also and it's I think it's a very beautiful song. Again, it's probably not in my man, actually, The Point of No Return is it used to be really high for me. I'm I honestly will have to do a ranking at the end or like kind of like break down our top three. But I did not like The Point of No Return until I saw Gerard Butler sing it, and then I became obsessed. Like that's where my ADHD took over, and I listened to The Point of No Return on repeat way too much. Like I think of Me in The Point of No Return, I've listened to on repeat. Like I don't know which one wins because like and it was just because I probably was crushing on Gerard Butler. But yeah.
Yeah. I think Gerard Butler did a pretty good job of just making the role his own. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, maybe he doesn't have like the best singing chops for the role, but they were not bad by any means. And like the emotion was definitely there. Like I felt it.
I don't know why. I like you heard me. I sing Michael Crawford's praises continuously. For some reason, I found The Point of No Return when I was a kid very boring. Like that song didn't do it for me. But and I've never got to see Michael Crawford perform it live. I would have I wish. Why? I never did. But seeing Gerard and that's what like seeing Gerard Butler sing it live and just like how it's super scary, right? He has like that's like his mask on and like he's all like the colors are different and it's like they're doing that Don Juan, like the whole narrative is just in a really really bad scary place and it's just like that song is so scary and he still is hypnotizing her. and
Yeah.
the crowd and everything. Like, it's just like and that's the saddest part, is the Phantom had so much power, and because of his circumstances, he was using it for evil. You know what I mean? And you're just
Mm-hmm.
like, this guy had so much power and ability, and it's like, and he's lost. He's in a terrible place. He's not a good person. Um, Honestly, I don't know if you want to say anything else, because we're about to get into Down Once More, and that is one of the best fucking musical songs, period. And it does not get enough credit, in my opinion. So I don't know if you wanted to say anything about the other three, but like, if we go into Down Once More, I got a lot to say. So
Yeah, I say we just get into Down Once More.
okay, let's do it. I know, sorry.
Yeah.
By the way, Luna, everybody, like, Luna invited me for like a little podcast, and I've like been talking their ear off for like almost 2 hours now. It's fine.
I'm chilling. Like I think you have
I'm
I
having fun
you've
too.
you
Sorry
you,
though.
you have had great things to say about this show and it's clear that
Yeah.
you really love it. Um
Aw, I do.
yeah. Honestly, I hadn't really listened to the soundtrack or watched the movie in a really, really long time. Uh,
Yeah.
same thing with Wicked. I did a Wicked episode a while back, and like
Yeah.
prior to the movie coming out, I didn't listen to the soundtrack for a really long time. I think in my brain I was kind of like, okay, they're good, but they're overrated, so I'm gonna take a break for 5, 6, 7, a long time, years, and then
Definitely. Yeah.
I listened through them again, the podcast, and I'm like, oh no, they're actually like really good.
Okay.
This is where
Oh my
Christine
God.
removes the Phantom's masks in front of the audience.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, God, there's just so much. There's so much with Down Once More. Down One, like I said, I think that I've listened to Think of Me, Phantom of the Opera, and The Point of No Return, like on repeat more time. Like, it's got to be thousands of times. And Down Once More, I've listened to so much, because it is just such literally, this is like peak musical, everybody. This is peak musical. It is literally like we are going through so many emotions. We get the face reveal in front of the audience. It is clear that Christine does not love him back. She finally, like, she breaks out, right? She's like, you do not have control over me anymore. Like, this is my voice. This is my show. You're not like taking anything from me. Because he forces her into this like really disgusting role. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And she derails his masterpiece, right? Because like Don Juan is his masterpiece. And then he has nothing. He is forced to physically take her down to the cavern. He's literally like pulling her down to the cavern, right? And like the words are so good. It's like, down once more to the dungeon of my black despair, down we plunge to the prison of my mind, down that path into darkness deep as hell. That is fucking poetry, dude. That is poetry. Like, we hear so many musicals and the words are so beautiful. Like, I don't know how more emotive and how better you can describe what is happening. He is literally physically taking her there, but he is literally in his mind spiraling the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like, he is in his mind losing it. And it's like, the fact that we are visually seeing this and we're auditorily hearing it in this like beautiful way is just like, I just think it's just like peak musical theater, right?
Yeah.
Um
It's such a
and he
great
breaks it.
moment for Christine too, where like she's finally able to break free of his spell and she has this like
Mhm.
amazing moment of taking back her agency because she really hasn't had any up to this point. And
Yeah.
and like you're right, it is the moment where he truly snaps because he's lost control.
Yeah. And then, but the thing is, like, so then we see him snap, right? And he's like, we're thinking, you're fucked up, dude. You're dragging this girl down. You're losing your shit. And then he looks at her and he goes, why, you ask, was I bound and chained in this cold and dismal place? And when Michael Crawford delivers these lines, it's just like, I'm starting to get emotional thinking about it. And he's like, not for any mortal sin, but the wickedness of my abhorrent face. It's just like, he finally says, I have all this trauma because of my face. He finally, like, he verbalizes, like, why am I fucking down here? why am I fucked? Like, sorry, I'm like cussing so much, but it's like, it's so sad. Like he literally is finally vulnerable with her, and he's like, what the fuck did I do? Like, why? You know, and he's like talking about his face, and literally you have like the mob in the background saying like, track down this murderer, he must be found. And then he's like, hounded out by everyone, met with hatred everywhere. It's like the way he sings this part is so crazy. No kind word from anyone, no compassion anywhere. And then he's like, Christine, Christine, why? And he's begging her. He's like, why is everyone so fucking cruel to me? You know what I mean? And he's like, all I want, like, he doesn't say what all I want is love or someone to fucking make me feel like I should exist, but he is like pleading with her. You know, he's dragging her down, you know, like, and he's totally in the wrong, but like he's finally being like, this is like, why is this happening to me, you know? Oh my god. And then the whole, again, let's talk about peak musical theater. The whole time we have like in the background Madame Giray is like, your hand at the level of your eyes, and Raoul is coming down, so this is all fucking layered, right? Like you have like the mob, you have Madame Giray with Raoul, you have the Phantom and Christine. Can you imagine, Luna, how hard it was to probably iron that, like, not probably, how hard was that to iron that out? You have like multiple duets going on, choruses, different songs. Like I can't, it is literally so, it is art. It is so art, right? And then like I'll fast forward because I know I'm like totally deep diving here a little bit more. But then Raoul finds them and he starts to hang Raoul, which is his thing, right? He hangs people.
Yeah.
And Christine is literally like, have you gorged yourself at last in your lust for blood? Like, am I now to be prey to your lust for flesh, right? Like, she fucking finally finds her, like, voice, right? And she's just like, is this it? Like, and this is such a big moment for Christine. Like, you said, like, her ripping his mask off. You know what's interesting, too? Talking about ripping his mask off earlier, I was mad at mad at her for doing that. But now that we're talking about this, and I've never realized this until this moment, I think she was trying to be vulnerable with him. Like she was like, you can unmask around me.
Yes.
And I think, I'm sorry, I just realized that. And it's making me like get even more upset because it's like, I think Christine was actually not doing it to be cruel. And I think in versions I've seen, sometimes she's like ripped it off like a little bit more cruelly, but I actually think she was doing it to be like, I want you to feel free around me, you know, in that first moment. And again, someone could argue that with me, but it's crazy because now there was that opportunity for love to be had, and he shut her down. He got angry at her, remember?
Yeah.
Instead of being like, yeah, this is what my face looks like, he got angry with her. And I think Christine was actually, I've never really thought about that until this moment. I think she was trying to be vulnerable with him. And someone could argue the opposite, right? But I think he shut her down. So now he's finally like letting it all out, right? The fate which condemns me to wallow in blood has also denied me the joys of the flesh, this face, the infection which poisons our love, right? And then he has that bride dummy. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
The dumb.
So creepy.
So creepy. I know. I'm just like, talk about horror too. We haven't even really talked about like this musical's so horrific. Like it has so much horror to it, right? Yeah. And then he has this emotional part, which, okay, he says this, reveals the dummy, and if I'm Christine at this point, I'm like, you're hanging my like love interest, not even like a childhood friend of love interest, and you just showed me a dummy. Like I would legit be freaking out, right? And then he has this moment where he's like, this face which earned a mother's fear and loathing, a mask, my first I'm feeling scrape of clothing. You know, like I'm just like, this is so beautiful. Pity comes too late, turn around and face your fate, an eternity of this before your eyes, right? And so you're like, I'm sorry, Luna, if I was Christine, I'd be screaming.
Oh, me
you know
too.
What I mean? Like I'd be like, what the fuck? You know? And instead, Christine is like, this haunted face holds no horror for me now. It's in your soul that the true distortion lies. And you're just like, I have never given Christine enough credit for how present she is in that moment. Like, it's like, this guy is literally fucking your life up in every way right now. And she's literally like, you she's staying so grounded, and she's like, your soul is messed up, dude. Like, your soul is fucked. And
Yeah.
then,
She essentially is saying, like, you're not a monster because of how you look, you're a monster because of how you're acting.
mhm. And I fucked up. So he hasn't started hanging Raul at that point. He starts to hang Raul here when he goes, wait, I think, my dear, we have a guest. Sir, this is indeed an unparalleled delight. Which, again, like, the Michael Crawford switch from charismatic to, like, charming in that moment. And then he's like, I'd rather hope that you would come, and now my wish comes true. You've truly made my night. Like, it's so creepy. He's
Ugh.
angry to crying to back to showman. And so then he starts to hang Raul, and Raul is like, free her, do what you like, only free her, have you no pity? And the fandom's like, your lover makes a passionate plea. And then, like, it's just like chaos at this part of the song, right? Like, he's hanging Raul screaming, Christine screaming, the phantom screaming. It's just like great. Like, I mean, it's not great.
I mean,
It's a terrible
it's
situation,
so
but
intense.
yeah,
And
as an audience member, right?
yeah.
Sorry, I'm like totally hogging this, so please, like, weigh in. I'll be quiet for a
Oh,
second.
absolutely. It's great. I just love your passion on this. But like I think you just put it all, like, you put it best. It's at this point too where, like, it's the climax of the story, right? He's basically like giving her an ultimatum. He's saying, "Stay with me, and then I'll let Raul go. Leave me, and then I'll kill him." So it's
Mhm.
yet another attempt at, like,
Oh,
isolating
so
her,
yeah.
because either way like she's either going to be stuck with him, or she's going to end up alone. What I
And also, like, she's fucked regardless, right? Like, he kills. Sorry, like, I don't want to cut you off, but it's like, it's just such a terrible situation. Like,
yeah,
it's just. Anyway, but yes,
cuz
please
it
continue.
cuz
It's
if he
so
does
sad.
cuz if he does kill Raul, like, that's kind of it for her. Like, she doesn't really have any prospects. At the in this
And
time
also,
yeah, in this time period, like, being an artist didn't make you a whole lot of money. Not unless you were like world famous, like
yeah,
it
totally agree.
like getting into the industry now is pretty difficult, and most people in the industry aren't, like, super rich. uh
Hmm.
Most of us are actually, like, starving artists, but back then, like, you were making pennies from it. Like, it
Hmm.
really was not a good career prospect at all. There
Yep.
was there really just wasn't a lot of money coming out of it at the time. It was even harder than it is today to, like, make really good money from it. So,
Hmm.
really, like, the only way for Christine to, like, be okay is to get married, and Raul is really the only man she trusts enough to marry
Hmm.
because they've been friends for so long.
Hmm.
So,
Ugh.
uh that it's where you really got to question, like, prior to what comes next. It's like, wow, like, this isn't love. This is an obsession. Like, you're really screwing her over right now because
Beyond an obsession. Yeah.
because you're being selfish right now. But I love, we touched on it earlier. I love that all Christine has to do is just show him kindness and show him that he does deserve to be loved by kissing him.
Yeah.
Like, my love for you is real, but just because of the society we live in, it can't happen. If it
And what he's done, he's done too much.
He's
Like,
done too much.
he's done too much. Yeah.
And but, like, that one act of kindness is, like, enough for him to, like, change his ways and, like, do the right thing.
I love, like, this is one of my favorite lines in musical theater, period. It's when Christine says, pitiful creature of darkness, what kind of life have you known? God, give me courage to show you you are not alone. And then she kisses him. I'm, like, literally gonna cry. It is, like, one of my favorite, because it's like, in that moment, like I said earlier, like, I would be screaming.
Yeah.
I would be like, what the fuck? You know what I
I
mean?
I would be
And the
so
crowd,
horrified.
yeah, but it's like, and people do not give Christine credit. Like, she literally in this moment is able to still see the humanity in him. And it's like, how? Like, how can you see the humanity in someone after all this? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm just in awe.
And she sees the humanity in him.
Yeah, I'm in
Yeah,
awe
sorry.
of, yeah. Sorry, the mic kind of delayed for a second there. But
Oh, did you?
I'm just so in awe of like Christine's resilience like
Mm-hmm.
from such a young age. She's gone through so much. She's gone through so much. And uh yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know if I would have it in me to be kind or compassionate to someone who is like doing things like to that degree of evil to
totally.
me.
I agree. Yeah. Like it's like he's terrible. Like but this is what's so beautiful about the story of, Phantom of the Opera is that like we forget we're all human. You know what I mean? And it's like people make mistakes and their lives spiral out of control and they do unconscionable terrible things, but like in our core deep down people still have a heart and still have a shred of humanity in them, right? And so in that moment, instead of like antagonizing him more or freaking out, which frankly she would have been totally in the right to do, but she's like, there is humanity in him. There is I know that he still has a heart and goodness in him, which I'm a firm believer that like every person has like goodness in them, but it's like that goodness has become like shrouded or traumatized or whatever, right? And she knows that. Is a 16-year-old and she has the wherewithal to be like, this person just needs someone to show him love. I don't know how, through the chaos of that entire song and everything that she's going through in her life, she is able to see that. And it's like people do not sing Christine's praises enough because she literally makes this whole musical. Like she makes this whole musical with this one act of kindness, you know? And then literally after that, he's like, take her, forget me, forget all this, leave me alone, forget all you've seen, go now, don't let them find you. And he literally just lets them leave. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, and I think it just speaks volumes about like we're all in chaotic situations all the time, and like we all don't want to hear this, but typically the best resolution and the best answer is always just be loving. You know, like
Yeah.
I live in LA. Someone cuts me off in traffic. I'm like, what? You know, but it's like, why didn't I just be like, man, that person's having a really tough day. Like, go, you're good. You know, it's like Christine literally teaches us like in your hardest moments, respond with love. You know, and like
Mhm.
I know that is probably a moral to this whole story that is very lost because it's so theatrical and there's so many great songs. Like this, what is crazy about this song or this whole musical is that it's very mesmerizing and enchanting and has all of this deeper meaning, but it's like surface level you can consume it and all you see is like beautiful beautiful songs. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what's like crazy about because this musical, like you read all the accolades it has, right? Like it was the longest running show on Broadway. It got this award, that award, and it's like because on the surface level, it like can just be perceived as, oh, that's some great music, but literally like there's so many deep layers to it. It is just like such an incredible song, and musical. Sorry, and this song, but
Yeah.
oh,
Incredible songs, incredible show, incredible story. That's pretty much the
love it.
end. What do you think of the
Yeah,
ending where like the angry mob finds them? The girl Meg from earlier is kind of the first to go into the lair and she like rips off the cloak and then all that there is the mask. Like where do you think the Phantom goes from here?
I don't know. I just
Disregarding
got
the
chills.
sequel.
Yeah, disregarding the sequel. I just got chills when you said that. It's like it's the saddest ending, right?
Like does he
Because it's
die?
almost I don't know. We don't know. Does he so in the movie they allude that he just lives in hiding because he like ticks something off of her gravestone or something. Like some like Raoul leaves something and then he notices or there's like flowers, I forgot, but it alludes to the other admirer is out there. You know what I mean? Which I think I in my heart I want to believe that like the Phantom sees this one act of kindness and he's like, let me just like live my life and like listen to my music and exist how I exist, which is still very tragic and sad, right? And I think that his his tauntings of the, you know, and his like haunting of the opera house are done. I think he just goes and lives alone. You could also, you know, there were parts of me that felt like I you know, I hate to say this, but I think parts of me were like, did he unalive himself? Like, I don't know, you know, and like we will never know, right? And I think that's like there's definitely that potential for it too. But like I think in my heart, I want to think that he just watched Christine from afar, and I think he always loved her. And I know low key it's creepy, but I think he like the love went from being this romantic lust to more of a respect, right? Like I
Mm-hmm.
think he was like, thank you for I think he was like, thank you for reminding me what it is to be a human. Like, thank you for showing me love. And I think he just always maybe he was just kind of like there, and maybe truly kind of low key became like a guardian angel or like a someone who just kind of like. But I don't think he fucked with her life ever again. I don't think he knew she set down a boundary. Like, let's give Christine like credit where credit's due. She like was like, you were fucking up right now. And what was
Good for
beautiful too,
her.
she sets down this boundary with love though, right? Like she's just like hey, like let me show you compassion here, but like we gotta go. Like this
Oh
is
yeah.
not like, you know, this is not it. Like, you know, and I think that I that's what I want to believe. I want to believe that he disappeared. He never bothered the theater people. He kind of like cleaned up his act, you know, and who knows what he did to survive, right? But I think he always was just kind of like he probably held on to that shred of humanity that he was shown for the rest of his life. But like we don't understand how much one little act of kindness can really like transform or help someone. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just crazy, you know?
Yeah.
But what do you think? What do you think happened?
Whew. Um. Yeah. To be honest, I don't know. I do
Yeah.
like that it's kind of left to interpretation. You know, he could have taken his own life. He could have just continued to live in hiding. And we don't know. And I kind of like that ambiguity.
Mhm.
Um, and again, I think it really just speaks to um, just the circumstances of the time period that he was living in, where just like, yeah, we don't know what happened to him, just like we don't know what happened to the real life pianist who was disfigured from the real life fire.
That's so sad.
It's
I mean,
it's
and you know what the
tragic.
thing is? Yeah, I think honestly, I kind of like what you said. And I think that a lot of people had a problem with the movie version showing that he possibly survived because I think what people want, he was always mystery, right? Like it was this mysterious man, you know? And so it was like for the end to be this mystery too. I think it was just like it was so fitting and appropriate, you
Yeah.
know? Um anyway, gosh, I'm sorry it took up so much time, but like
No,
this was so fun to
it's
talk
so
about
it's so
because nobody
great.
geeks out about Phantom, you know? Like I don't know anybody else.
I
Like I
know.
literally like this musical is shaped who I am as a person. So it was really nice. That's why I was like, fuck, it's almost 3. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, this show is so amazing. I'm so glad I got to revisit it and kind of take a deeper look at it because, you know, I think I was 15 or 16 the last time I like listened to the soundtrack all the way through. And the story is like so much deeper than I remember, and it actually really resonates a lot, and it deserves every
Mhm.
award it received.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
what you're saying, Luna, is so true though. Like if you don't like do a deep dive, like mind you, I think my ADHD, like as a child, I like read the lyrics over and over again and I listened to it over and over again. So like I have this like weird deeper understanding than I think most people. But what is so crazy is that like you need to have that sort of depth to a musical or a film, and maybe not everybody catches on to it, but it's like that depth is still what gives something its depth, right?
Mm-hmm.
um And I think that that's what is so beautiful about Phantom of the Opera is because like someone can just casually listen and be like, oh, those are really lovely songs, you know? And it's like just cool to digest the movie really quickly. Oh, it's a little romance movie. That was nice, you know? But then it's like when you hear the poetry of the words and you like start to unearth and analyze the story like we are, like it is a really it's a treacherous story. It's a horror story and but it's also a beautiful story. So,
Absolutely. We will end the episode with a question I like to ask all of my guests. Tell me your favorite and your least favorite thing about theater.
oh gosh, okay. My favorite thing is like, telling my truth, being able to express myself, like creating art. Like, theater is amazing, right? Like, it's like us just breaking this all down. It's such a beautiful thing. And what's crazy about theater is like, it is art, but it is like living art, right? Like, it's like, I could show you an art piece and you'd be like, oh, that sculpture is a sculpture, that is a painting. But what's so crazy about acting is like it's an art, but like you have to be there to witness the art and magic, and then it just like goes. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy, you know? That's what I love about it. What I hate about it is that like it is a cutthroat industry. It is super freaking hard to succeed in it. And it's just entertainment I mean, like the Phantom of the Opera is low key about the entertainment industry, like the
Mm-hmm.
grooming and like being caught in the middle of crises and just it all being freaking hellacious, like it is a very turbulent industry. Like life is hard though, and the thing is like don't let anyone take your dream away from you. It's like very special that we have the gifts that we have, and like I'm so happy that like you and I have Epic and stuff like that to make us not give up on those dreams.
Yeah.
um but it's a really tough industry. That's like what I hate about it the most is like I have so many days where I'm just like I don't know if I can do this.
Oh,
And then I
yeah.
have to just stay focused that like I'm not going to let anyone take my dream away from me. So
Yeah. Well, Jacki, it's been such an honor to have you on the podcast. Thank you so
yay.
much for coming on. I just admire your passion about this show, and it's been great to hear what you had to say about it. So, thank you
Oh
so
my gosh,
much.
thank you. Thanks for doing this. Like I got to listen to some of the other episodes cuz it's like the thing is like we all talk about how great a musical is, but I don't rarely do people like deep dive. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I think it's rare. So I'm like this is really cool that you've put this together. So thank you. I'm honored to be here. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's a wrap. And yeah,
yeah.
I'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye. Well, that's showbiz. Once again, if you like this episode, be sure to check out the extended version on my Patreon, as well as other bonus content for just $3 a month. Got any burning questions or comments? DM me on Instagram or leave a comment on YouTube or TikTok, and who knows, I may mention you in an upcoming episode. My socials and my guest socials are in the description box down below, as well as any other upcoming projects and a social justice spotlight related to this week's musical. Thank you so much for watching and supporting, and please come again.